Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode number 4 of Playing with House Money present the Soccer Gambling Cognoscenti. I am Ice, aka Iceman, at Iceman underscore 1013 on Twitter. As you can see on my own today, my consigliere DJ Prue is otherwise engaged, but we're talking about the soccer stuff, so no different from us this weekend. We're going to crack on. We're just going to talk about some of last week's games and what we've got coming up today and tomorrow. So we'll roll straight into it. Last week was the international break. So we talked on last week's show about the fact that, there wasn't going to be a huge amount of bets that we were laying down. We got a couple of winners here and there, more so on Monday, Tuesday. A couple of nice plus 400 winners that brought us back somewhere close to evens. I think we finished -2 units, just under -2 units for the weekend. But again, we didn't really play a huge amount. International football kind of sucks for the most part. You can never rely on teams like Belgium, Portugal to do things against the minnows, especially in European qualifying. It's always very hit and miss. France, and England. They're just very unreliable when you're bringing these players back together when they've been out playing for their club sides for 6 weeks, and then you ping them together for 2 or 3 days and expect them to go out and and do the business for their international side. Sometimes it works. Spain showed us that it can. They scored 7 and 6, I think, in their 2 games. But they're the anomaly when it comes to the qualifying. But hopefully, I think we're done with the qualifying now. I think it's another 6 weeks, middle of October, end of October, until we have another international break. So hopefully we can crack back on, and it all starts again today. We have 2 of the big guns of European football, both in action this afternoon. We've got PSG in France at home against Nice, and we have Bayern Munich also at home playing against Bayer Leverkusen. Now, that game in Germany should be an absolute cracker. Bayern, that both these teams are 3-0 to start the season. They've started both sat on 9 points atop the league. Bayern +7 goal difference. They've scored 9, conceded 2. Leverkusen have scored 11, conceded 3. So they're actually above Bayern with a +8 goal difference right now. So this game should be full of goals. Like you guys have heard over the last few weeks, I absolutely love the German league for goals anyway. Fridays, different story. Sometimes the Friday club can leave a lot to be desired on the goals front. But this game, I feel like the defenses have been pretty stout, but both these, they've scored 20 goals between them in 6 games. These attacks are fairly sharp. So I like this game for goals. I'm going over 3.5. Over 3.5 match goals is -124. Dependent on starting lineups, check in a couple of hours. Leroy Sané, my favorite Bayern player to bet on for goals, is +130 right now. Anytime goal scorer. And then Mr. Boniface, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, absolutely cashed us. He's +190 to score for Leverkusen. And I do like Leverkusen to get the goal here. You could go both teams to score. Don't think there's a huge amount of value in it. Like I said, you have to get to 4, 5, 6 goals to really find the value. This could be a cricket score. This could be, what we see, 6-3, 5-2. There could be tons of goals. At least I'm hoping there is tons of goals, right? Like both attacks should be better than the defenses that we've got on display in that one. The other one, PSG, slow start to the season for them. Obviously, lots of changes in France this season, lots of unknowns going on with Kylian Mbappe. But they seem to have settled down their last couple of games. We've seen the real PSG in the last 2. They're now, they've won the last 2 on the bounce. Like I say, they didn't win in their first 2 games, but they've won the last 2. They've now scored 8 goals in those 4 games, and I'm very sure 7 of those are in the last 2. I know in their last game away to Lyon, they scored 4 in the first half. So this is the real PSG that are back. And Nice, kind of conversely, are 1-3 so far this season. Like they've only won 1 of their 4 games, scored 4 goals but conceded 2. I think they've drawn the other 3, so they've not lost, but again they've only scored 4. So again, this one, keeping it simple, could just go in for the over 2.5 match goals at -184. PSG could easily score the 3 themselves. You could go a nice little PSG and Bayern home teams over 2.5 match team totals for both of them, but over 2.5 goals in the PSG game, over 3.5 match goals in the Bayern game, plus 179 double. And again, the goal scorers that we mentioned, Sané and Boniface in that German game. PSG is kind of Mbappe, Asensio, depends on the lineup. Mbappe, you're not going to get a huge amount of value on unless you're taking him for 2. But again, with this game maybe being a 2-1, I wouldn't like too much value on that. And again, just keeping it simple with that plus 179 double, just because it's Friday, and historically Fridays haven't been the kindest to us. But on Saturday, we have some real value. Obviously, lots of games to get back into. Starting off in the Premier League in England, we have Manchester United at home to Brighton. Brighton have scored 12 goals in 4 games. United have conceded 7 in their 4 games this season. Although this game is at Old Trafford, I do like it for goals. Looking at this, it could be a 2-2. Brighton to score twice is plus 112 right now. So huge value for Brighton. I think they're even bigger. They're like 220, 230 on the money line. I don't want to get too much into my bias here of, my dislike of Manchester United being the reason why I'm taking Brighton. But again, I think they've scored 12 in 4 games. The one game they didn't a couple of weeks ago against West Ham, they got absolutely taken to the cleaners by West Ham, but they have scored, I think, 4 goals in their other 3 games, or 3 and 4. So they're on a roll. And like I said, United have, they conceded 3 against Arsenal, 2 goals in injury time. Yes, had 1 disallowed themselves, but defensively, United are not that sound, and I do think Brighton could take advantage there. So I love the value on that one. Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur versus Sheffield United is also in the Premier League on Saturday. Spurs have scored 2 in every Premier League game so far. They've got 11 goals in 4 games. Sheffield United have conceded the same 7 in 4 that Man United had that I just talked about. So again, these numbers just add up to Spurs again scoring 2 goals at home. They could probably score 3 or 4, just like they did against Bournemouth last time out, but not going too heavy. Taking the over 1.5. It is -310, so it's very juiced on its own. But when you add that in with a couple of the others where we've got the plus money value, that's where we get, it just gives a nice little bump for something that should be fairly comfortable. I'm hoping they've got that done and dusted by half time. The late game in the Premier League is Newcastle against Brentford. Brentford have been they've gone under the radar. I think with Ivan Toney out, everyone has kind of written them off. Just underestimated how good this side actually is. They've scored 8 in their 4 Premier League games so far this season. They've also conceded 5. So as much as they're still getting the goals going forward, they are left open at the back. So 13 goals in 4 games. And Newcastle, their opponents today at St. James's Park, they've scored 6 and conceded 3. They lost to the 10 men of Liverpool, their last home game. So again, they're great going forward. they leave themselves open at the back. So we get plus 100 here, nice even money, double up on both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in this game. You could just take the over. The over 2.5 is slightly less than the both teams to score. The BTTS is for my money the better value. But putting both of those together, again, 13 goals in Brentford's 4 games, 9 goals in the last 2 games at St James's Park. I love this game for goals. So yeah, we're adding that to the ones before, and you could play those 3 Premier League games together. You could double them up or RR them. Don't take Spurs on their own, the minus 310, but add them to one of the other 2, and like I say, it gives you a nice bump. And then the 2 European games that I like the look of. One is Valencia versus Atletico Madrid over in La Liga in Spain. Valencia coming off the back of back-to-back losses. They lost against Alaves and Osasuna. Atletico Madrid put 7 past Rayo Vallecano away last time out. Some of their guys have gone off. Morata and Griezmann have scored goals on the European break. So they're coming back kind of refreshed with goals, ready to just roll straight back into that. Atletico have won the last 6 head-to-head games with Valencia, and their over 1.5 team total is plus 122. I know they're away from home, but that's still, I think that's huge value there on them to score twice. I love them on the money line. Like I said, six games in a row against Valencia, both home and away, they've won. So yeah, like the value on Atletico. And then the last one is possibly, this is going to make or break the day. This could be the best game of the weekend. It's the Milan derby. So it's Inter versus AC. There's no real home bias here. So for those of you that don't know, they share a ground, the San Siro in Milan. So Inter are the designated home side for this game, which means that Internazionale fans will have the pick of the tickets, and the AC fans will kind of be in the away section and have the fewer fans here for this game. But it's at the San Siro. It's ultimately a home game for both sides in a sense of they're playing at a stadium they're familiar with. But both of these sides are, again, similar to the Bayern Munich game I talked about earlier. Both of these sides have started the season on fire. They're both 3-0. They've both scored 8 goals in 3 games. They're both looking like their old selves. They're both looking, really, really sharp. Inter haven't conceded a goal. AC Milan have only conceded twice. So there's again, we're looking at the attacks here are going to be, which defense is going to stand solid. Looking at the last 4 head-to-heads, including a Champions League, 2 Champions League ties in the knockout phases last year, I believe, Inter have won the last 4 on the bounce. They've scored 7 in those 4 games, and they haven't conceded against AC. So they haven't conceded in the last 4 head-to-heads. They haven't conceded in the first 3 league games of this season. My money here is on Inter. Like I said, they're the home team designate, so they're going to have more fans. But the head-to-head record, the goals that they haven't conceded yet this season, I'm going with Inter Milan, team total over 1.5 at plus 108. So again, we get some good value on the fact that AC have only conceded 2 goals themselves this season. But this Inter Milan attack, Lautaro Martinez, we're going to be looking at him for a goal if he starts. So yeah, I love that value. We've got 4 out of the 5 bets I've mentioned on Saturday that are plus money. Absolutely love that. Those 4 you can take, you can round robin them by 2s and 3s, play the 4 straight, throw in the Spurs minus 310. If you play all 5 as a parlay, it's plus 1147. But with the plus money stuff, absolutely round robin it. like I said, I think there's some huge value there on Saturday, and hopefully at least 2 or 3 of those come good for us. Now on Sunday, I've really only picked 3 games here that we're really diving into on Sunday. First one is one that you can take or leave. Like I've said before that I rarely bet on Arsenal. I'm betting on Arsenal this weekend. And this is why. They're away to Everton. Everton haven't won a game in the first 4 in the Premier League this season. They've conceded 8 goals in those 4 games. They've only scored twice. Arsenal have not lost this season in the Premier League. They've won 3, drawn 1. They've scored 8. They've conceded 4. They're creating chances. They are away, but they've scored 8 in 4. Everton have conceded 8 in 4. I do like this game for goals. I sneaky think the over 2.5 match goals at -167. It's some nice value there. I expected it to be a little bit lower, so I'll take the -167. And of course, if you want to, you can take the slightly lower value of Arsenal over 1.5 team total at -186. But I'm gonna in a couple of minutes I'll tell you what I'm doing with the Arsenal team total. That will become apparent in the next 2 games that I discuss. But yeah, the over 2.5 match goals that's the treble we're playing this week on Sunday. Over 2.5 match goals in these 3 games. The second one is in Italy. It's Fiorentina against Atalanta. So Fiore scored 6, conceded 7. They've won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. So yeah, they until they came up against that Inter Milan defense and couldn't get past them and conceded 4, they were looking very good. I do like them to get a goal themselves. Like I say, until they came up against that Milan defense, which is looking like one of the best defenses in Italy right now. They had scored 6 goals in 3 games, so 2 per game. So they're definitely good for a goal, certainly at home. Atalanta as well. They've won 2 games this season. They've scored 6 goals in their 3 games. They've conceded twice. So again, I like this for both teams to score. I like it to be 2-1 either way. I'm leaning a little bit here. The match goals is -128. So great value on a game there, which I think is definitely going to be 1-1, and then we just need a goal either way. The sneaky little bet to go with Arsenal team total is Atalanta over 1.5 team goals, plus 140. So again, just great value on them to get to. Like I said, Fiorentina coming off the back of a 4-0 loss to Inter. A game that they were going into trying to prove that they were up there in contention this year. So we'll see how they bounce back. But like I said, just kind of sneaky suspicion on the away team getting a couple there and lovely value with that. And then the last one to round off the weekend is in France. It's Lyon against Le Havre. Again, the match goals over 2.5, -148. Put the 3 games together on Sunday for a plus 378 parlay, 9 goals. Lyon have not won a game yet this season. They've only scored 3 and they've conceded 11. They've conceded 11 goals in 4 games, including 4 that they just shipped in the first half to PSG, their last home game. Le Havre are the new boys in the league, but they're holding their own. They have 5 points so far. They've only lost 1 of their 4 games. They've conceded 6 goals, but they've scored 8. They've scored 8 times in 4 games. So Le Havre are by no means pushovers here. You could absolutely take the both teams to score in the Italy game and the France game. You could push that to the Everton-Arsenal game. Everton have only scored twice. It's always, I don't want my Arsenal fandom to come into it and say, hey, we're not going to concede. But I mean, I wouldn't go too big on it. And also as a fan, I wouldn't be surprised if we do concede. So, you could play each one of these 3 games, both teams to score as well. You probably get some good value there. And again, continuing with the theme, if you're playing Arsenal and Atalanta, that away team over 1.5, like I've said, Lyon have conceded 11, Le Havre have scored 8. That adds up to Le Havre over 1.5. I might play this one straight myself. It's plus 230. So again, I think that's big value. And you get that value because the books are still seeing Le Havre as being the new boys in the league. On paper, this should be an easy Lyon 3 points. But the way the 2 teams are playing right now, the form doesn't say that that's what's going to happen. So again, sneaky little away team, 2 goals. If you parlay all 3 of those away teams, Arsenal, Atalanta, and Le Havre, you get over a plus 1100 for 6 goals. Arsenal, great for it. Atalanta and Le Havre, I definitely think score at least 1. So again, for plus 1100, we're just looking for an extra goal out of both Atalanta and Le Havre, and I don't think that's a stretch, and we're getting a really nice price on it. So yeah, if you are watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe, throw in any comments, any questions that you have for me this week. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, Spotify, etc., iTunes, throw us a review. Again, if you want to catch us on Gilded with the Toilets to Totals team, Playing with House Money, have our own channel over there. Fantasy football it's about the football on the American side of the Atlantic. Jump in, let me know. Like I say, on Twitter at Iceman_1013, at PW_House Money. Jump in, let us know. Let me know what questions you've got. If you want to join the Discord, it's $10 a month. We cash in every week. This month, you can get your first month for free if you use the code NFL Kickoff. Let me know about it. You'll see me posting on Twitter about it. There'll be plays in there for Norway on Sunday, the MLS on Saturday night, and most definitely for the Bundesliga on Saturday morning. We're going to cash them out again. I've been Iceman. It's been my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday at the SGC.